Okay, welcome back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to deal with something that's going to involve the chain rule, because now we've got, instead of x in here, we've got another function. Okay, so we've got a more complicated function than y equals x, right? So, again, if you just apply the chain rule and realize what you already know from what we've been learning about dealing with inverse functions and trigonometric functions, then you'll be able to get the right answer, okay? So again, it's just about taking your time, and it's like figuring out a puzzle, okay? So we know, since we have a function inside another function, we're going to use the chain rule. So it'll be the derivative of the outside times the derivative of the inside, okay? So if we let g of x equal the inside function, right? 2x cubed, right? So, well, what's the derivative of the outside function? Well, we've done that before, right? So this is going to be, let's write this as h of x is equal to sine inverse, or arc sine. Again, remember, it might be arc sine. Arc sine, g of x. Okay? So now, what's the derivative of the outside function? Well, we know from the previous example that, let f of x equal sine inverse of x, right? So then this is going to equal f of g of x, right? And then h prime of x will equal f prime of g of x times g prime of x, right? Okay, so now this is equal to what? It's the derivative of f at g of x. Well, f of x is just sine inverse of x. Well, we know that is going to be what? It's going to be 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared, but instead of x, we've got g of x. So it's going to be 1 minus the quantity g of x squared, right? And then times g prime of x. All right, so now all we need is, we've got g of x, right? Well, what do we get? We get 1 over the square root of 1 minus g of x is 2x cubed, so that's going to be quantity squared, times the derivative of g, which is 6x squared. Okay, so now, what do we get? We get 6x squared over the square root of 1 minus, now what is this going to be? This is going to be 4, right? We distribute properties of exponents again. So this is going to be 2 squared and x cubed squared. So this is going to give us 4x to the 6th power. Okay? Now, and that's the best we could do. So we're finished. Okay? And that's the answer. So again, it's really easy if you just put together what we've been learning, right? So in this case, just to recap, we had sine inverse of another function. So we've learned how to handle inverse functions, right? And inverse trig functions, right? So now all we're doing is we're adding the chain rule, and so all I did was apply the chain rule to h, right? So I just wrote h like this, And so I know now h prime is going to be the chain rule, and now I know how to handle the outside function. It's just sine inverse. So we've done that before, right? So we know what that's going to look like. And then multiply by the derivative of the inside, and that's really the only new piece, is I'm putting in g of x instead of x, and then I'm multiplying by the derivative of g, and then you just plug and simplify. And that's it. So again, just practice, and this will become a lot easier. And even with more complicated looking ones, just remember, use what you know, apply it to the more complicated, right? That's one of the things about problem solving. If you look at something that's complicated, use the techniques that you've used for something that was similar, but simpler, right? So you can always do that, okay? So see you next time.